Sarah's left hand, her only hand, gripped the knife from the reception table. 200 guests gasped as she sliced through her wedding dress train in one savage cut. Silk tore like a scream. "You want to see what broken looks like, Derek?" Her voice carried across the church garden. "This is what you're running from." She grabbed the wheelchair's rim, spun toward the exit, and the empty sleeve of her dress snapped in the spring wind like a flag of war. What happened in the next 60 seconds would either destroy her completely or save her life. Drop a comment below and tell us what city you're watching from. Let's see how far this story reaches across America. The knife clattered to the stone path. Sarah Chen sat frozen, chest heaving, staring at the ruined train of her $4,000 wedding dress. Shredded silk pooled around her wheelchair like shed skin. Her left hand trembled, the only hand she had left to tremble with. What had she just done? Behind her, the church garden erupted. Gasps, whispers. Someone sobbed, her mother probably. Bridesmaids rushed forward, stopped, unsure whether to comfort or contain. "Sarah, honey." Her mother's voice breaking. "Don't." Sarah didn't look back. "Just don't." "But the guests can leave." Sarah's voice came out flat dead. "Weddings canceled. Groom decided cripples don't make good wives." The word landed like a slap. Someone gasped. But Sarah didn't care. She was done being polite. Done pretending Derek's abandonment was understandable. Done making everyone else comfortable with her pain. 30 minutes ago, Derek Morrison had walked into the bridal suite and destroyed her. Not with cruelty, Derek was too refined for that. With kindness. With apologies. With the gentle condescension of someone explaining why she simply wasn't worth the trouble. "I can't do this, Sarah. I tried. God, I tried. But I can't spend my life taking care of you." Taking care. Like she was a pet. A burden. A broken thing. Sarah's left hand found the wheel of her chair. She pushed. Hard. Away from the voices. Away from the pity. Away from 200 people who'd come to watch her marry a man who couldn't even look at her empty sleeve without flinching. The garden path curved toward the parking lot. She'd make it to her car, modified hand controls, independence she'd fought 9 months to achieve, and she'd drive. Somewhere. Anywhere. She didn't know where, and didn't care. "Ma'am?" The voice came from her left. Male. Deep. Careful. Sarah didn't stop. "Not interested in pity. Keep moving." "Good. I don't do pity." Something in his tone made her break. She turned. A black man, mid-30s, stood beside the fountain. Expensive jeans, black t-shirt, kind eyes that had seen some things, and his right hand. Not a hand, a prosthetic. High-end, the kind that moved almost naturally but couldn't quite hide what it was. He followed her gaze. "Afghanistan. IED. 2015. He flexed the mechanical fingers. "Lost at disarming explosives. Woke up in a field hospital missing my arm and my career." Sarah stared. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because 30 seconds ago you cut yourself free from something that was suffocating you, and everyone in that garden is acting like you're having a breakdown. But you're not. You're having a breakthrough." The words hit her solar plexus. "Who are you?" "Marcus Williams." He moved closer, not invading, just present. "I'm here with my daughter for a fundraiser. We're early. And I heard..." He paused. "I heard someone who sounded like they just survived something." "I didn't survive." Sarah's laugh came out broken. "I destroyed my wedding dress and humiliated my family." "You escaped." Marcus knelt beside her wheelchair, meeting her eyes. "There's a difference." Before Sarah could respond, a small voice called out, "Daddy?" A little girl appeared, maybe 7, wearing a yellow dress and bright pink sneakers. Sarah noticed immediately the hearing aids behind each ear, the way the girl tilted her head to catch sound. "There you are." The girl's words carried the careful precision of someone who learned to speak without fully hearing herself. She signed as she talked. "You said stay close." "I know, Lily. I'm sorry." Marcus signed back, his prosthetic hand moving fluidly. "I met someone." Lily's eyes landed on Sarah, on the wheelchair, the torn dress, the empty right sleeve pinned at the shoulder. And unlike every adult who'd stared at Sarah in the past 9 months, Lily didn't look away in discomfort, didn't offer pity, just studied Sarah with frank curiosity. "Are you getting married?" Lily asked. "No." "Why not? You're wearing a bride dress." Sarah's throat tightened. "The groom changed his mind." "Why?" "Lily." Marcus started, but Sarah held up her hand. "Because I use a wheelchair, and I only have one arm, and he decided that made me not good enough." Lily processed this, then signed something to her father, quick and emphatic. "She says he's stupid." Marcus translated. "Very stupid," Lily added aloud. "My daddy says stupid people can't see what's right in front of them. They only see what's missing." Sarah felt something crack in her chest. "Your daddy sounds smart." "He is smart. He's the smartest." Lily stepped closer. "Can I ask you something?" "Okay. Does it hurt your back?" The bluntness should have stung. Instead, it felt like relief. "Sometimes. Not today." "Does your arm hurt, where it's gone?" "Sometimes I feel it, like it's still there. Phantom pain, they call it." Lily nodded seriously. "I have phantom hearing. Sometimes I think I hear things that aren't there. Daddy says my brain is filling in the blanks." She touched her hearing aids. "These help, but they're not perfect. Sometimes everything is too loud. Sometimes nothing is loud enough. Do you have something that helps?" Sarah looked at her wheelchair. "This. It helps me go places." "Does it have a name?" "A name. Everything important should have a name. My hearing aids are thunder and lightning, because they help me hear storms. Despite everything, the humiliation, the grief, the rage," Sarah smiled. "I never thought about naming it." "You should. It's important." Lily glanced back at the church. "Are those people your family? Some of them? Are they nice?" Sarah hesitated. "They're worried." "About what?" "About me. About what people will think. About—" Sarah stopped. Why was she explaining this to a 7-year-old? "About you being different." Lily finished. She signed to her father again. Marcus's expression shifted, pride mixed with something deeper. "She wants to know if you want to leave." "I can't just leave. I have to—" Sarah gestured helplessly. "I have to explain, apologize, clean up this mess." "Why?" Marcus asked simply. "Because—" Sarah stopped. "Why?" "Because her mother expected it. Because guests deserved an explanation. Because good girls don't make scenes and abandon their responsibilities. Because that's what you're supposed to do." She finished weakly. "Says who?" Marcus stood stretched. "Here's what I know. You just had someone abandon you on what should be the happiest day of your life. You cut yourself free, literally. And now you're worried about being polite to people who are probably gossiping about you right now anyway." Sarah flinched. He wasn't wrong. "Or," Marcus continued, "you could do something different. Something for you." "Like what?" Lily bounced on her toes. "Pancakes. We're going to Rosie's. They have chocolate chip pancakes, and the waitresses are really nice, and nobody cares if you're different there. I can't go to breakfast in a wedding dress." "Why not?" Lily asked. "It's pretty, and you already cut the bottom off." Marcus met Sarah's eyes. She's not wrong, and honestly, showing up at a diner in a destroyed wedding dress? That's a statement. That says, I survived something and I'm still here. Sarah looked back at the church. She could see figures in the garden. Her maid of honor Jessica probably trying to manage the chaos. Her mother devastated. Guests confused and whispering. She could go back, smooth things over, make it easier for everyone else. Or she could choose herself. "I don't even know you," Sarah said. "True, but you know your ex-fiancé and look how that turned out." "Fair point." "1 hour," Marcus said. "Have breakfast with us. If you hate it, we'll bring you back. If you want to go home, we'll help you get there. No pressure, no expectations. Just pancakes and maybe some conversation with people who get it." "Get what?" Marcus gestured at his prosthetic. Lily touched her hearing aids. "Get what it's like when your body doesn't cooperate. When people see the equipment before they see you. When you're tired of explaining and justifying and making everyone else comfortable with your existence." Sarah's breath caught. When was the last time someone understood without her having to teach them? "Okay," she heard herself say. "Pancakes." Lily cheered. "Yes, Daddy, we're taking the princess to breakfast." "She's not a princess, Lily. She's wearing a fancy dress. That makes her a princess." Lily grabbed Sarah's left hand with complete unself-consciousness. "Come on, before all the good booths are taken." As they moved toward the parking lot, Sarah's wheelchair, Marcus walking beside her, Lily half skipping ahead. Sarah heard her mother calling. "Sarah, Sarah, where are you going?" She kept rolling. "Sarah, please, we need to talk about this." She didn't stop. For 9 months, she'd been accommodating, understanding, patient. She'd made herself smaller, quieter, easier to deal with. She'd let Derek set the pace. Let doctors tell her what she could and couldn't do. Let well-meaning relatives pat her hand and say things would get better. She was done being manageable. "My car's modified," Sarah said as they reached the parking lot. "Hand controls. I can drive myself." "Want us to follow you?" Marcus asked. "Or want to ride with us?" Sarah looked at her car, then at Marcus's truck, then at Lily, who was signing something about chocolate chip pancakes being the best medicine. "I'll follow you," Sarah decided, "in case I change my mind." "Fair enough." Marcus pulled out his phone. "Put your number in, just in case we get separated." Sarah took the phone one-handed, typed quickly, handed it back. "Sarah Chen," Marcus read. "Marine biologist." "Former marine biologist," Sarah corrected. "Can't exactly dive anymore." "Why not?" She gestured at her body. "Kind of obvious." "Is it ever heard of adaptive diving?" Sarah paused. "That's not... I can't..." "Can't or haven't tried?" Marcus asked gently. "There's a difference." Before Sarah could answer, Lily appeared at her elbow. "Are you coming? I'm really hungry, and your dress is really pretty, and I want to sit next to you at breakfast." Something in Sarah's chest loosened. This child, this stranger, saw her as someone worth sitting next to. Not someone to pity, not someone to fix, just someone. "I'm coming," Sarah said. The drive to Rosie's took 12 minutes. Sarah followed Marcus's truck, her left hand steady on the modified wheel. Every block away from the church felt like breathing after being underwater too long. Her phone buzzed, texts exploding. "Mom, where did you go? Everyone is asking questions." "Jessica, are you okay? Should I come find you?" "Derek, Sarah, I'm sorry. Can we talk?" Sarah turned the phone face down. Rosie's Diner sat on a corner in Fremont classic Seattle charm, with red vinyl booths and windows overlooking the water. Saturday morning crowd filled most tables. Families, couples, solo readers nursing coffee. Normal people doing normal things. Sarah parked in the accessible spot transferred to her wheelchair and sat there for a moment. Her wedding dress, even with the train cutaway, looked absurd. White silk and lace in a breakfast diner. The ultimate walk of shame. Or walk of freedom. Marcus appeared at her window, Lily holding his hand. "Ready?" I look ridiculous. You look like someone who survived something. That's not ridiculous. That's powerful. Sarah took a breath, unlocked her door. Let Marcus open it without making it weird. Inside the diner smelled like coffee and bacon. The hostess, a woman in her 60s with kind eyes, took one look at Sarah's dress and didn't even blink. Booth or table, Han? Yeah, booth, Marcus said. Accessible. Right this way. They settled in, Sarah transferring smoothly her wheelchair parked at the table's end. Lily immediately grabbed crayons and started coloring the paper placemat. The waitress appeared. Name tag Doris. What can I get you folks? Chocolate chip pancakes, Lily announced, with extra chocolate chips and orange juice. And Sarah needs extra whipped cream because she had a bad morning. Doris looked at Sarah's dress, at her empty sleeve, at her face, and something shifted in the older woman's expression. Not pity, solidarity. Extra whipped cream coming up. And hun, whatever happened this morning, you're better off, trust me. Sarah felt tears threatening. Thank you. Coffee. Please, strong. As Doris walked away, Marcus leaned back. So, marine biology. Tell me. Sarah wrapped her left hand around the warm mug that appeared. What do you want to know? What made you love it? Not what happened. Not how she got hurt. What she loved. The quiet, Sarah said. Underwater everything is quiet. Even with gear, even with other divers, there's this silence that doesn't exist on land. And the colors. People think the ocean is blue, but it's not. It's every color. Purple coral, orange fish, green anemones. It's like being inside a painting. What did you study? Coral reef restoration. Climate change is killing reefs, warmer water acidification. I was working on grafting techniques, taking healthy coral fragments and attaching them to damaged reefs, helping them heal. Marcus smiled. Healing broken things. Fitting. I wasn't thinking about metaphors at the time. Maybe you should start. Pancakes arrived. Mountains of them. Lily dug in immediately. Sarah looked at her plate one-handed, eating required strategy. Marcus noticed. Lily trade places with Sarah. Give her the corner spot. Why, Dean? Better angle, trust me. They swapped. Marcus was right. Corner booth meant Sarah could brace her plate cut more easily. How'd you know? She asked. 6 years one-handed, Marcus said. You learn things. He held up his prosthetic. This helps, but it's not the same. Still figuring out what works. Does it get easier? Does what get easier? Living like this. Being different. Having people stare. Marcus cut his own pancakes thoughtful. Easier, no. Different. You stop caring what strangers think. You start caring about who shows up, who stays, who sees you instead of your equipment. Derek said he tried to see me. Said he really tried. But every time he looked at me, all he saw was what I'd lost. Then he was looking wrong, Lily said through a mouthful of pancakes. When I look at you, I see someone who survived a crane. That's amazing. How'd you know about the crane? Sarah asked. You told me. In the garden, remember? Sarah had forgotten. The past hour was a blur of adrenaline and emotion. What happened? Marcus asked. If you want to talk about it. Sarah cut a piece of pancake, chewed slowly, buying time. 9 months ago, I was finishing my doctorate. I had a research position lined up at the aquarium. Derek and I were planning this wedding. Everything was perfect. Except money was tight, and research doesn't pay well, so I took a side job. Doing what? Underwater welding, commercial diving, good money, simple work. I'd done it before summers during grad school. Sarah's left hand tightened on her fork. We were working on a cargo ship in Puget Sound. Underwater hull repair. I was 30 feet down when the crane operator made a mistake. Load shifted. 4,000 pounds of steel came down on me. Lily stopped eating. They got me to the surface. I remember lying on the deck, unable to move my legs, my right arm bent wrong, knowing something was very bad. The pain was... Sarah stopped. The pain was everything. Hospital, Marcus prompted gently. Harborview, trauma center, surgery. They saved my life. Surgeon said I was lucky. Sarah's laugh was bitter. Lucky, because I could have died. The spinal injury could have been complete. The arm could have gotten infected. But I didn't die. I just lost everything below my waist and my dominant arm. She set down her fork. Derek visited every day, held my hand, told me nothing changed. And I believed him. For 6 months I believed him. Through physical therapy, through learning to use a wheelchair, through losing my research position because I couldn't dive anymore. Through all of it, Derek said he loved me, that we'd figure it out. What changed? Marcus asked. 3 weeks ago he stopped holding my hand, started working late, flinched when I needed help. This morning in the bridal suite he finally told the truth. He'd been trying to convince himself he could handle being married to someone disabled, but he couldn't. He wanted a normal life. Normal is overrated, Lily announced. Normal is boring. Different is interesting. Sarah looked at this child who had somehow crystallized truth. Your daughter is very wise. She gets it from her mother, Marcus said quietly. Where is her mother? Marcus's expression shifted. She died. Childbirth complications. Lily was born premature 26 weeks. Her lungs weren't developed. Her hearing didn't develop right. We lost my wife and almost lost Lily too. Sarah's breath caught. I'm sorry. Me too. Every day. Marcus looked at his daughter with fierce love. But Lily's here, and she's taught me more about strength than any army training ever did. Lily leaned against her father. Daddy says Mommy would be proud of me, because I don't let my ears stop me from doing things. Your Mommy would be very proud, Sarah said. I'm proud of you, and I just met you. Lily beamed. They ate in comfortable silence. Around them, the diner hummed with weekend energy. No one stared at Sarah's dress. No one asked questions. She was just another customer having breakfast. When had life last felt this normal? Can I ask you something? Marcus said eventually. Okay. What do you want to do now? Not today. Not this week, but with your life. What do you want? Sarah opened her mouth, closed it. No one had asked her that in 9 months. Everyone asked what she could do, what was realistic, what accommodations she needed. No one asked what she wanted. I want to dive again, she whispered. I want to finish my research. I want to publish papers and speak at conferences and prove that my brain didn't break when my body did. Then do it. I can't. Why not? Because I can't walk. Because I have one arm. Because adaptive diving programs are expensive and limited. And excuses. Marcus interrupted. Good ones, real ones, but still excuses. He leaned forward. Sarah, I lost my arm and thought my career was over. Then I discovered adaptive engineering. Now I design accessible equipment for disabled veterans. I turned my loss into my purpose. That's different. Is it, or is it just hard and you're scared? The words should have stung. Instead, they felt like truth. I'm terrified, Sarah admitted, of failing, of trying and realizing Derek was right, that I'm too broken to do the things I love. Derek is an idiot, Lily said matter-of-factly. You're not broken, you're different-shaped. Like a puzzle piece that doesn't fit where it used to but fits somewhere better. Sarah stared at this 7-year-old philosopher. Where did you learn that? I made it up just now. Lily returned to her pancakes. I'm good at making things up. Marcus caught Sarah's eye. Something passed between them. Understanding, recognition, the beginning of connection. Here's what I think, Marcus said. You've spent 9 months trying to fit back into your old life. Old Sarah's life. But you're not old Sarah anymore. You're new Sarah. And new Sarah gets to decide what she wants. Not what's realistic. Not what's safe. What she wants. I want to stop feeling broken, Sarah whispered. Then stop calling yourself broken, Marcus said simply. You're not broken. You're changed. There's a difference. Sarah looked at her empty sleeve, at her wheelchair, at the ruins of the life she'd planned. Then she looked at Marcus's prosthetic hand, at Lily's hearing aids, at two people who'd been dealt terrible hands and chosen to keep playing anyway. How do you do it? She asked. How do you wake up every day and not hate what you lost? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. I do hate it sometimes. Some days I wake up and I'm so angry I can barely breathe. Angry at the insurgent who planted the IED. Angry at the army for sending me there. Angry at my arm for not being there anymore. What do you do? I let myself feel it. For exactly 5 minutes. I set a timer. And for 5 minutes, I let myself be furious and grief-stricken and bitter. And then, the timer goes off. He snapped his prosthetic fingers. And I choose different. I choose Lily. I choose my work. I choose getting up and doing it anyway. 5 minutes, Sarah said. That's it. 5 minutes of real feeling is better than a lifetime of pretending. And on really bad days, I set the timer twice. Despite everything, Sarah laughed. They finished breakfast. Doris brought the check and, as promised, 2 slices of chocolate pie. On the house, for courage. Outside, the May morning had warmed. Seattle sunshine rare and precious. Sarah sat in her wheelchair full of pancakes and pie wearing a destroyed wedding dress and felt something she hadn't felt in 9 months. Light. Thank you, she said to Marcus. For stopping. For staying. For... She gestured helplessly. For this. You would have done the same for someone else, Marcus said. That's who you are. You don't know me. I know enough. You cut yourself free this morning. That takes courage most people don't have. Sarah looked at the diner, at this ordinary place where extraordinary healing had begun. What happens now? Now, Marcus said, you decide. Do you go back to your apartment, face everything waiting there, or do you take another hour for yourself? What would another hour look like? Lily tugged her father's hand. The aquarium. We could go to the aquarium. Sarah knows about fish. Marcus raised an eyebrow. What do you say? Feel like playing tour guide? Sarah thought about her apartment, about Derek's key, about well-meaning calls and texts, about explaining and defending and justifying. Then she thought about the Seattle aquarium, about the underwater tunnel where sharks swam overhead, about the quiet of watching fish move through water, about being in her element even if she couldn't be in the element. Let's go see some fish, Sarah said. Lily cheered. Marcus smiled. And Sarah Chen, who'd started this morning as a bride and become something else entirely, rolled forward into her new life. One choice at a time. The aquarium parking lot was half full when they arrived. Sarah watched families stream toward the entrance, kids pulling parents, couples holding hands, the easy normalcy of a Saturday outing. Her phone buzzed again. She ignored it. You okay? Marcus asked, appearing beside her car. Define okay. Functional, present, not actively spiraling. Sarah managed a smile. Then yes, barely. Lily was already at the entrance, bouncing on her toes. Come on, the octopus might be awake. Inside the aquarium, wrapped around them blue light, the hush of water, that particular smell of salt and life. Sarah's chest tightened. She'd been here 100 times. As a student, as a researcher, as someone whose body worked the way it was supposed to. Where to first? Marcus asked. Underwater tunnel, Sarah said. Best view in the building. They made their way through the weekend crowd. People noticed Sarah's dress, how could they not, but most looked away quickly, Seattle polite. A few kids stared openly until their parents redirected them. Lily stayed close, her hand resting on Sarah's wheelchair. Not helping. Just there. The tunnel curved beneath the main tank acrylic walls, showing fish from every angle. Overhead, a leopard shark glided past, elegant and unconcerned. Sarah stopped her chair, tilted her head back, and let the blue wash over her. "That's a 7-gill shark," she said quietly. "They're native to Puget Sound, endangered. We had a breeding program at UW." She stopped. "I had a breeding program. Before." "Tell me about it," Marcus said. "Why?" "Because you light up when you talk about this, and I want to see that light stay on." Sarah looked at him. Really looked. He meant it, not humoring her, not being polite. Actually interested. 7-gill sharks are apex predators, she began. But they're clumsy. They get caught in fishing nets, hit by boats. Their population dropped 60% in 20 years. We were trying to establish a captive breeding program, understand their reproductive cycle, create safe environments for pups. Were you successful? I don't know. I left before we got results. The words tasted like failure. Someone else took over my research. Someone who can actually access the lab equipment. Someone whose body cooperates. Someone who's not you, Marcus said. Which means they'll miss what you'd see. You don't know that. I do, actually. Because passion makes you better at things, and whoever replaced you, they don't have your passion. They have your notes. A family walked past the father explaining something to his son about sharks. Getting it wrong, mixing up 7 gills with 6 gills. Sarah bit her tongue. Not her place anymore. "You should correct him," Lily said, appearing at her elbow. "What?" "That man, he's teaching his kid wrong information. You should fix it." "I can't just..." "Why not? You know the truth. He doesn't." That's how teaching works. Lily said it like it was obvious. Like Sarah's wheelchair and missing arm and destroyed wedding dress didn't matter when truth was involved. Sarah looked at the father and son, now pointing at a placard. "Excuse me," she called out. They turned. The father's eyes went to her dress, her chair, her empty sleeve. His expression shifted: pity, confusion, polite interest. "I'm sorry to interrupt," Sarah said, "but I heard you talking about the sharks. That's actually a 7-gill, not a 6-gill. You can tell by the gill slits, 7 gills have 7 on each side. 6 gills are deeper water fish. You won't see them in aquariums usually." The boy's eyes went wide. 7 gills. "That's so cool. Dad, did you hear that?" The father smiled, embarrassed but gracious. "I did not know that. Thanks for the correction. Are you a marine biologist or something?" Sarah hesitated. Was she? Could you still claim a title when you couldn't do the work anymore? "She's a shark scientist," Lily announced proudly. "She knows everything about ocean animals." "That's amazing," the boy said. "What's your favorite shark?" And just like that, Sarah was talking. About sharks and rays and the interconnected ecosystem of the Sound. About conservation efforts and climate change impacts. About why every species mattered, even the ugly ones, even the scary ones. The boy listened, rapt. His father listened too, genuinely interested. When they finally moved on, the boy waved. "Thanks for teaching me real stuff." Sarah sat there, heart hammering. "See?" Lily said. "You're still a scientist. You just taught that kid science. That makes you a scientist." "She's right," Marcus said. "Knowledge doesn't disappear because your body changed. It's still there. You're still there." Sarah's phone buzzed, again. She pulled it out, ready to silence it, and saw the name. Jessica, her maid of honor, her best friend since undergrad. "I need to take this," Sarah said. "We'll be over there." Marcus pointed to the touch pools. "Take your time." Sarah answered. "Jess." "Oh, thank God. Sarah, where are you? Your mom is losing her mind. Derek as well. Derek is being Derek, which is to say useless, and I'm fielding questions from 200 confused guests. I'm at the aquarium." Silence. Then, "I'm sorry, what?" "The Seattle Aquarium. I'm watching sharks with a man I met in the church garden, and his 7-year-old daughter who wears hearing aids and is possibly the wisest person I've ever met." More silence. "Sarah, are you having a breakdown?" "Maybe. Probably. I don't know." Sarah watched Marcus and Lily at the touch pool, Lily shrieking with delight as she touched a sea star. "Jess, I cut my wedding dress with a knife, in front of everyone, and then I left." "I know. I was there. It was the most badass thing I've ever seen you do." "It was insane. It was overdue. Sarah, Derek is an asshole. I wanted to tell you that 6 months ago, but you weren't ready to hear it." "Why didn't you?" "Because you needed to figure it out yourself. And you did, spectacularly, with a knife, in front of God and everybody." Despite everything, Sarah laughed. "What do I do now?" "Whatever you want. For the first time in 9 months, you get to do whatever the hell you want." "I don't know what that is." "Then figure it out." "But Sarah, don't come back to that apartment today. Derek's there. He's—" Jessica paused. "He's confused, hurt, acting like he's the victim in this." Rage flared hot in Sarah's chest. "He left me 30 minutes before our wedding." "I know. And he somehow convinced himself he did you a favor. That he was being noble by being honest. I'm going to kill him. Get in line. Your mom is ready to commit violence. So is your dad. Pretty sure your uncle already drove to Derek's parents' house to have words." Sarah closed her eyes. "This is a nightmare." "No, this is freedom. It doesn't feel like it yet, but it will." Jessica's voice softened. "Where are you staying tonight?" "I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead." "Come to my place. I'll order Thai food and we'll get drunk and watch terrible movies and not talk about any of this unless you want to." "Okay. Yeah. Okay. Text me when you're heading over. And Sarah, I'm proud of you." "For what?" "Ruining my wedding." "For saving yourself." Sarah hung up, sat there holding her phone. Around her, families moved through the tunnel. Normal people living normal lives. When had her life stopped being normal? The day of the accident, or earlier when she'd started shrinking herself to fit Derek's comfort level. "Sarah." Lily's voice carried across the space. "Come feel the sea stars. They're bumpy." Sarah rolled toward them. The touch pool was shallow, filled with sea stars and anemones. Lily's hands were wet fingers spread wide as she touched everything carefully. "Put your hand in," Lily said. "I'm okay watching." "But touching is better than watching. That's what Daddy says. Watching is learning with your eyes. Touching is learning with your whole self." Marcus caught Sarah's eye, shrugged apologetically. "She's not wrong." Sarah looked at the water. At her left hand, at the sea stars moving slowly across the rocks. She reached in. The water was cold. The sea star under her fingers was rough, solid, alive. She'd touched hundreds of sea stars in her career, but not since the accident. Not since she'd lost the right to call herself a scientist. "See?" Lily said. "Better right." "Better," Sarah agreed. They spent another hour in the aquarium. Sarah found herself narrating, pointing out species, explaining behaviors, falling back into the rhythm of teaching. A small crowd gathered at one point, listening to her explain the octopus's problem-solving abilities. "You should work here," someone said. An older woman, kind smile. "My grandson would love a tour guide who actually knows their stuff." "I'm not," Sarah started. "She's a marine biologist," Lily interrupted. "She studies coral reefs and sharks, and she survived a crane accident, and she's the smartest person I know." The woman's expression shifted. "Not pity, respect." "Then they should hire you. God knows most tour guides just read the placards." As the crowd dispersed, Marcus leaned close. "She's right, you know. You should work here." "I can't." "Why not?" "Because I'm not." Sarah stopped. What was she about to say? Not capable, not qualified. Not whole enough. Not what? Marcus pressed. Not ready. Fair enough, but maybe start getting ready. Because Sarah, you just spent an hour doing the thing you love, and you were damn good at it. Wheelchair didn't stop you. Missing arm didn't stop you. Only thing stopping you is you. The words hit like a depth charge. Outside, the afternoon sun was warm. Tourists filled the waterfront. Street performers played music. The city hummed with life, continuing indifferent to Sarah's crisis. I should go, Sarah said. My friend Jessica, my maid of honor, she's letting me stay at her place tonight. I need to get out of this dress and figure out what comes next. Okay, Marcus said. Then, can I give you my number? Real number? Not just emergency contact. Sarah looked at him. At this man who'd appeared at her lowest moment and somehow made it bearable. Why? Because in about 3 hours you're going to crash. The adrenaline will wear off and the reality will hit and you're going to feel like dying. And when that happens, I want you to be able to call someone who gets it. You don't even know me. I know enough. And I want to know more, if that's okay. Sarah's heart did something complicated. Not attraction, not exactly. Something else. Recognition. The way you recognize your own species in unexpected places. Okay, she said. They exchanged phones, added numbers. Lily made Sarah promise to text her pictures of any cool fish she found. We're going to a movie later, Lily announced. The new animated one about the singing turtles. You should come. Lily, Marcus started. What she should come. She likes animals and she had a bad day and movies make bad days better. Sarah smiled. Thank you, Lily, but I need to be with my friend tonight. Maybe another time. Promise. Promise. Lily threw her arms around Sarah's waist in an impulsive hug. You're going to be okay. I know you are. Because brave people are always okay eventually. Sarah hugged back with her one arm, eyes burning. Thank you. As they walked to their cars, Marcus paused. Sarah, one more thing. What? Derek was wrong. About all of it. You're not half a woman. You're not too much work. You're not broken. You're just you. And you is enough. You've always been enough. Sarah couldn't speak, could only nod. Text me, Marcus said. Anytime. Even if it's 3 a.m. and you just need someone to tell you you're not crazy. Okay. She watched them drive away, Marcus and Lily, two strangers who'd become something else in the span of a morning. Then she sat in her car, still wearing her destroyed wedding dress, and let herself feel everything she'd been holding back. The grief, the rage, the humiliation, the fear, but also something new. Hope. Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. You survived today. That's enough. Tomorrow you'll survive tomorrow. One day at a time. Sarah typed back. Thank you. For everything. Thank Lily. She's the wise one. I just follow her lead. Sarah smiled, started her car, and headed toward Jessica's apartment. Jessica answered the door, holding a bottle of wine, and wearing the expression of someone ready for battle. Oh, honey, come here. Sarah wheeled inside and burst into tears. I've got you, Jessica said, arms around her. I've got you. You're safe. You're here. And you never have to see that asshole again. They ordered Thai food. Sarah changed into borrowed clothes. Jessica's sweatpants, a t-shirt that said, nevertheless, she persisted. They ate pad thai on the couch, and Sarah told the whole story. The garden, Marcus, Lily, the aquarium. So let me get this straight, Jessica said. You met a hot single dad with a prosthetic arm and his adorable daughter and spent the day with them instead of dealing with your canceled wedding. That's not how I'd summarize it. But it's accurate, I guess. Good for you. He sounds better than Derek already. I'm not Jess. I just left my fiancé this morning. I'm not thinking about other men. I'm not saying marry him. I'm saying you met someone who sees you as a person instead of a problem. That's significant. Sarah picked at her noodles. He lost his arm in Afghanistan. His wife died in childbirth. His daughter has hearing loss. And they're living. Not pretending everything's fine. Just living. Moving forward. How do they do that? Maybe you should ask him. I barely know him. You trusted him enough to ditch your wedding and eat pancakes with him. That's not nothing. Sarah's phone buzzed. Another text from Marcus. A photo this time, Lily at the movies wearing 3D glasses, grinning huge. She says hi. And that you should watch the Singing Turtle movie because it's actually pretty good. Sarah showed Jessica the photo. Oh, she's precious. And that's a man who includes you in his daughter's life immediately. That's Sarah, that's significant. It's been one day. It's been the most important day. You saw each other at your worst and no one ran. That matters. Sarah set down her food. Jess, I don't know how to do this. How to be single. How to be disabled. How to be someone whose entire life plan just exploded. I don't know who I am anymore. Then we figure it out. Together. One day at a time. Jessica poured more wine. First question. What do you want to do with your stuff at Derek's place? Burn it. Valid, but impractical. We'll get your things, put them in storage, and you can decide later. I don't want to see him. You don't have to. I'll handle it. Your mom will handle it. Hell, I'll get your uncle involved. Derek doesn't get access to you unless you explicitly grant it. He'll try to apologize, to explain. Let him try. You don't have to listen. Sarah, you get to protect yourself now. You get to say no. You get to choose who gets access to your energy and your time and your heart. And Derek lost that privilege this morning. Sarah leaned back exhausted. What if he was right? What if I am too much work? What if no one else will want? She gestured at herself. Stop. Stop right there. Jessica's voice was fierce. Derek is a coward who couldn't handle real life. That's not a you problem. That's a him problem. And if you need proof, you already found it. Marcus. A man who lost his arm and didn't let it define him. Who saw you at your absolute worst and didn't run. Who introduced you to his daughter on day one. That's what actual good men do. I can't think about other men right now. I'm not talking about romance. I'm talking about evidence that you're not the problem. Derek made you believe you were unlovable. One morning with Marcus proved that's a lie. Sarah's phone buzzed again. This time Lily. This is Lily. Daddy let me text from his phone. The turtles are singing. It's very loud, but good loud. I hope you're having a good night. You're my friend now. Sarah read it twice, tears threatening. She says I'm her friend now. See, 7-year-olds don't lie. If she says you're friends, you're friends. Kids know things adults forget. They see what's real. They watched bad movies, drank wine. Jessica painted Sarah's toenails bright red because you can't see them in shoes anyway, and red is the color of warriors. Around midnight, Sarah's phone rang. Unknown number. Don't answer it, Jessica said. But Sarah looked at the screen, knew somehow. It's Derek. Then definitely don't answer it. Sarah answered. What do you want? Sarah, thank God. I've been trying to reach you all day. Where are you? Are you okay? Am I okay? Are you seriously asking me that? I'm worried. You disappeared. You cut your dress and left, and no one knows where you went. And whose fault is that, Derek? Silence. Then, I know you're angry. You have every right to be angry. But Sarah, we need to talk. We need to process this together. Together. You ended together when you walked out 30 minutes before our wedding. I was honest with you. I couldn't lie anymore. I thought that was the right thing. The right thing would have been being honest 6 months ago. Or a year ago. Or the minute you realized you couldn't handle being with me. Instead, you let me plan a wedding. Let me believe in us. Let me stand there in that dress thinking I was about to marry someone who loved me. I do love you. No, you loved who I was. You can't love who I am. There's a difference. More silence. Then, what do you want me to say? That I'm a terrible person? Fine, I'm terrible. But Sarah, I tried. I really tried. And I'm not the only one who would struggle with this. Anyone would. Anyone wouldn't. I met someone today who wouldn't. She shouldn't have said it. But she was tired and angry, and done protecting Derek's feelings. You met someone today. I met someone who saw me in a wheelchair with one arm and didn't run, didn't make excuses, didn't need 6 months to decide if I was worth the effort. He just showed up. Sarah, I'm done talking. Don't call me again, don't text, don't show up at my apartment. We're done. Completely, finally, done. She hung up, hands shaking. Holy shit, Jessica breathed. You told him you met someone. I didn't mean it's not like that with Marcus. He's proof that Derek's wrong, that you're worth showing up for. And you threw that in Derek's face. I'm so proud of you right now. Sarah dropped her phone. I think I'm going to be sick. That's the adrenaline crash Marcus warned you about. Come on. Jessica pulled her toward the bedroom. You need sleep. Real sleep. Not wedding stress sleep. Not hospital sleep. Just sleep. Sarah transferred to Jessica's guest bed, a process that still felt clumsy, undignified, necessary. Jessica helped without hovering the way good friends do. Jess. Yeah. Thank you, for not asking if I'm sure, for not trying to fix this, for just being here. That's what best friends do. We show up, even when it's messy, especially when it's messy. Jessica squeezed Sarah's hand. Text Marcus. Tell him you're okay. He's probably worried. It's almost 1 a.m. He said text anytime, so text. Sarah pulled out her phone. Hey, it's Sarah. Made it to my friend's place. Crashed hard like you predicted. Thank you for today, for seeing me, for not running. It meant everything. She hit send before she could overthink it. The response came within a minute. Glad you're safe. Tomorrow will be hard. Day after will be harder. Then it gets easier, slowly. But it does get easier. You're stronger than you think. Sleep well. Sarah showed Jessica. Yeah, you should definitely marry him, Jessica said. Stop. I'm kidding. Mostly. But Sarah, hold on to this. When the dark thoughts come, and they will remember that there are men like Marcus in the world. Men who show up, who stay, who see the person instead of the problem. Derek isn't the standard. He's the exception, the bad exception. Sarah closed her eyes. What if Derek was right, though? What if I am too much work? What if Marcus was just being nice today, and tomorrow he realizes? Then he realizes, and you survive Derek leaving. You'd survive that too. But Sarah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think you met someone real today, someone who gets it, and that's worth paying attention to. They said goodnight. Jessica turned off the light. Sarah lay in the dark, her body exhausted, her mind racing. Her wedding day. The day she'd planned for 2 years. The day that was supposed to start the rest of her life with Derek. Instead, it became the day she met Marcus and Lily. The day she cut herself free. The day she remembered she was more than her wheelchair, more than her missing arm, more than Derek's ability to love her. Her phone buzzed. One last text from Marcus. P.S. Lily made me promise to tell you she's praying for you tonight. She doesn't usually pray, but she said, you're special, and special people deserve prayers. So there you go. A 7-year-old's prayers. Probably worth more than anything I could say. Sarah read it 3 times, then typed back, tell her thank you, and tell her she's special too. Both of you are. You saved my life today. I know you don't think you did, but you did. You saved your own life. We just reminded you that you could. Sarah put her phone down, closed her eyes, and let herself cry. Not the desperate sobs from the garden. Gentler tears. Grief tears. Relief tears. Tomorrow will come tears. She'd survived today, somehow. with the help of strangers who became friends, who became proof that her story wasn't over. Just beginning. Different than planned. Harder than hoped. But hers. Finally, completely hers. Sarah woke to sunlight burning through unfamiliar curtains and 3 seconds of blessed confusion before memory crashed back. The wedding. Derek. The garden. Marcus. She grabbed her phone. 9:47 a.m. 17 missed calls, 43 texts. She scrolled through names: her mother, her father, Derek's mother, relatives. She barely spoke to college friends who'd heard something happened. One text stood out. Marcus sent at 6:30 a.m. Morning. How'd you sleep? Today's going to try to break you. Don't let it. Sarah typed back with her left hand still clumsy after 9 months. Slept terribly. Feel worse. How do you know what today will be like? The response came fast. Because I lived it. Day after my fiancé left, everyone had opinions. Everyone wanted to help. Everyone made it worse by trying to make it better. Protect your energy today. Only talk to people who earn it. Sarah stared at the words. People who earn it. When had she ever thought about who earned access to her energy? Jessica appeared in the doorway holding coffee. You're awake. Good. Your mom's called me 6 times already. She's worried but trying to give you space. Your dad wants to come over. And Derek? Jessica's face darkened. Derek sent flowers. He what? Flowers. Big arrangement. Lilies and roses. Card says, I'm sorry. Please let me explain. Sarah's left hand tightened around her phone. Throw them away. Already did. Put them in the dumpster. Felt good. Jessica handed over the coffee. What do you need today? I need to get my stuff from the apartment. I need to find a place to stay that's not Derek's place. I need to figure out how to pay rent when I don't have a job. I need... Sarah stopped. I need this to not be my life. I know, but it is, so we deal with it. Jessica sat on the bed. Here's what I'm thinking. Your uncle and I go get your stuff while you stay here. We pack everything, put it in storage. You don't see Derek, don't deal with his drama. Then we figure out next steps. I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm telling. That's what best friends do. We handle the ugly stuff so you don't have to. Sarah's phone buzzed. Her mother this time. Sweetheart, please call me. I just want to hear your voice. I need to know you're okay. She called. Her mother answered on the first ring. Sarah, oh, thank God. Baby, are you okay? Where are you? What happened yesterday? Everyone's talking and I don't know what to tell them, and your father is ready to... Mom, stop. I'm okay. I'm at Jessica's. I'm safe. But Derek said you disappeared. He said you cut your dress and left, and he's been trying to reach you, and... Derek doesn't get to be worried. Derek left me 30 minutes before our wedding. Silence. Then her mother's voice smaller. I know, baby. I know, but he called last night. He's devastated. He wants to talk to you to explain. There's nothing to explain. He made his choice. I'm making mine. I'm not seeing him. I'm not talking to him. I'm done. Sarah, I understand you're hurt, but maybe if you just listened. Mom, whose side are you on? Yours, always yours. But Sarah, Derek made a mistake. People make mistakes. Maybe with time. Sarah felt something crack. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is a thoughtless comment. Abandoning someone on their wedding day because their body isn't good enough isn't a mistake. It's a choice. And he chose himself over me. I'm choosing me now too. Her mother was crying. I just want you to be happy. I will be. Eventually. But not with Derek. Never with Derek again. Sarah took a breath. Mom, I need you to support me right now. Not him. Not his feelings. Me. Can you do that? A long pause. Then, yes, of course. I'm sorry. I wanted so badly for this wedding to happen. For you to have something beautiful after everything you've been through. I know, but the beautiful thing wasn't Derek. It was never Derek. I just couldn't see it yet. They talked for 10 more minutes. Her mother promised to handle the relatives to spread the word that Sarah needed space. Her father got on the phone, voice tight with barely controlled rage, and said if Derek came near Sarah, he'd need a good lawyer. Dad, no. No violence, no threats, just let it go. He's not worth it. He hurt my daughter. He did. But I'm dealing with it my way. And my way doesn't involve assault charges. Her father made a sound somewhere between a laugh and a growl. Fine, but if he shows up uninvited, all bets are off. After she hung up, Sarah sat there holding the phone. Her life, the one she'd built with Derek, was truly over. The apartment they'd shared, the friends they had in common, the future they'd planned, all of it gone. And underneath the grief, underneath the anger, she felt something unexpected. Relief. Her phone buzzed. Marcus again. How are you holding up? Barely. My mom wants me to forgive Derek. Everyone has opinions. I want to scream. Then scream. Find a place where no one can hear you and scream until your throat hurts. Works for me. Does it actually help? Hell yes. Rage is healthy. Stuffing it down isn't. Lily and I go to this park sometimes when she's frustrated with school or I'm frustrated with life. We find an empty spot and just yell, let it out. Then we feel better. Sarah looked at Jessica. Marcus says I should scream. Marcus is a genius. There's a park 3 blocks away. We could go. I'm not screaming in public. Why not? You cut your wedding dress with a knife in front of 200 people. Screaming in a park is nothing. She had a point. 30 minutes later, Sarah found herself at Volunteer Park, Jessica pushing her wheelchair to a quiet corner, away from the weekend joggers and families. The morning was overcast, typical Seattle gray, the kind of day that matched internal weather. Okay, Jessica said. No one's around. Let it out. Sarah looked around embarrassed. I can't just... Yes, you can. You're pissed off. You're hurt. You're grieving. So grieve. Loud. Sarah took a breath, opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Come on, Jessica urged. Pretend Derek's standing right there. What do you want to say to him? Sarah closed her eyes, saw Derek's face, his careful, concerned expression, his gentle voice explaining why he couldn't marry her, as if his tone could soften the knife. I hate you, she whispered. Louder. I hate you. Louder. I hate you. The words ripped out of her chest. I hate that you made me believe you loved me. I hate that you wasted 6 months of my life. I hate that you let me plan a wedding and pick out flowers and write vows when you knew you were going to leave. She was yelling now, really yelling, her voice echoing across the empty grass. I hate that you made me feel broken. I hate that you made me apologize for existing. I hate that you looked at my wheelchair and my missing arm and decided I wasn't worth the effort. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Her throat burned, her chest heaved, tears poured down her face. And she felt better. Not fixed, not healed, but lighter. Like she'd expelled poison she didn't know she'd been carrying. Jessica wrapped arms around her. There you go. That's the good stuff. That's the truth. Sarah sobbed into her friend's shoulder. Why wasn't I enough for him? You were. You are. He's just too small to see it. They sat there for a while, Sarah crying, Jessica holding on. Eventually the tears slowed. Sarah wiped her face with her left hand, exhausted but clearer. Okay, she said. Okay. What's next? Next we get your stuff. Then we find you a place to live. Then we figure out the rest. Jessica squeezed her shoulder. One step at a time. Sarah's phone buzzed. Marcus. Lily wants to know if you want to come to dinner tonight. Nothing fancy. Just spaghetti at our place. She says you shouldn't be alone on your first full day of freedom. Sarah showed Jessica the text. Go, Jessica said immediately. I can't. I barely know them. Exactly. They're not tied to your old life. They're not going to spend dinner tiptoeing around your feelings or asking if you're sure about Derek. They're just going to feed you spaghetti and treat you like a human. Go. Sarah typed slowly. Are you sure I don't want to intrude? You're not intruding. Lily already set a place for you. She's very insistent. And honestly, I think it would be good for both of you. She doesn't have many friends who get what it's like to be different. And you need people who don't see you as broken. Sarah read it twice. When had anyone ever suggested she could help them instead of the other way around? Okay. What time? 6. I'll text you the address. Fair warning. Lily's a messy eater, and our house is chaos. But there's no pity here. Just company. That sounds perfect. Jessica and Sarah's uncle retrieved her belongings that afternoon. Sarah stayed at Jessica's apartment, fielding texts from Marcus about nothing important. A funny thing, Lily said. A video of their dog Biscuit trying to catch his tail. A link to an article about adaptive diving programs. Normal conversation. Not trauma-focused. Not pity-soaked. Just two people talking. Around 4 p.m., Jessica returned with boxes. Got everything. Derek wasn't there, thank God. His roommate let us in. Very awkward. Did he say anything? The roommate. Just that Derek's been in his room since yesterday. Hasn't come out much. Apparently he's taking this hard. Sarah felt a flash of anger. He's taking this hard. He destroyed me, and he's taking it hard. I know. But Sarah, let him suffer. You don't owe him comfort. You don't owe him forgiveness. You don't owe him anything. Sarah looked at the boxes containing her life. Clothes, books, research notes, photos she'd have to sort through later, decide what to keep and what to burn. I should probably cancel the honeymoon reservations, she said dully, and return wedding gifts and notify vendors. Already handled. Your mom and I made calls this morning. Everything's canceled. Gifts are being returned. You don't have to do anything except exist right now. Sarah felt tears threatening again. I don't know what I did to deserve you. You were there when my dad died sophomore year. You held me while I cried and didn't try to fix it. I'm just returning the favor. Jessica checked her watch. You have 90 minutes before dinner at Marcus's place. You should shower change into something that isn't my pajamas, and try to remember, you're still a person worth knowing. Sarah showered the familiar frustration of one-handed bathing, the vulnerability of needing grab bars, the reminder that her body would never cooperate the way it used to. But she managed. She always managed. She dressed in jeans and a sweater, simple clothes that felt like armor. Jessica drove her to Marcus's address, a small house in Wallingford, modest but well-kept, with a ramp leading to the front door. He built that himself, Jessica noted, pointing at the ramp. That's what the internet says. After he came back from Afghanistan, he started a company building accessible modifications for disabled vets. Pretty successful, apparently. You Googled him. Obviously, I Googled him. He could be a serial killer, but he's not. He's a decorated veteran who lost his arm saving his unit, came home to a fiancé who bailed, raised his daughter alone, and now helps other disabled vets rebuild their lives. He's basically Captain America. Stop. I'm just saying. You could do worse. Jessica pulled up to the curb. Want me to wait? Make sure it's not weird. No, I'll be okay. Text me if you need an escape plan. I'll fake an emergency. Sarah wheeled herself up the ramp. Before she could knock, the door flew open. Lily stood there grinning, wearing a sauce-stained apron. You came? Daddy said you might not come, but I knew you would because you promised, and you seem like someone who keeps promises. I try, Sarah said. Come in. Biscuit wants to meet you. The house was warm, lived-in comfortable. Photos covered the walls, Lily as a baby and NICU Marcus, in his army uniform, a beautiful black woman who must have been Lily's mother. The furniture was worn, but clean. Toys scattered across the floor in organized chaos. A golden retriever appeared tail wagging, and immediately shoved his nose into Sarah's lap. "Biscuit manners," Marcus called from the kitchen. He appeared wearing an apron that said, "Grill Sergeant," his prosthetic hand holding a wooden spoon. "Sorry, he has no boundaries." "It's okay, I like dogs." Sarah scratched Biscuit's ears. The dog leaned into her touch, groaning happily. "Dinner's almost ready. Hope you like spaghetti. It's one of 3 things I can cook successfully." "What are the other 2? "Grilled cheese and scrambled eggs. We eat a lot of breakfast for dinner around here." Lily pulled Sarah toward the kitchen table. "Sit here. This is your spot. I drew you a placemat." The paper placemat featured crayon drawings of fish, a wheelchair with a crown on it, and the words, "Sarah is brave," in careful letters. Sarah's throat closed. "Lily, this is beautiful." "I know. I worked hard on it." Lily climbed into her own chair. "Daddy says when people have hard days, we should remind them of good things. So I reminded you that you're brave. Because you are. You survived a crane and a mean man, and you're still here eating spaghetti with us." Marcus set plates on the table. "She's not wrong. That is pretty brave." "I don't feel brave," Sarah admitted. "I feel like I'm barely holding it together." "That's what brave looks like," Marcus said, sitting down. "Holding it together when everything inside you is screaming. Showing up when you'd rather hide. That's courage. The real kind, not the movie kind." They ate dinner. Lily chattered about school, about her friend Emma, who also had hearing aids, about how her class was doing a project on ocean animals, and could Sarah please help because her teacher kept getting facts wrong. "What kind of wrong facts?" Sarah asked. "She said whales are fish, but they're not. They're mammals. They breathe air and have babies and make milk. Fish don't make milk. That's basic." "You're absolutely right. Whales are mammals." "See?" Lily turned to Marcus. "I told you, Sarah knows real science." Marcus smiled at Sarah over his daughter's head. "She's been talking about you non-stop since yesterday. You made quite an impression." "She made an impression on me, too." After dinner, Lily insisted on showing Sarah her room. More drawings covered the walls. Sea creatures, families, abstract swirls of color. A shelf held books about ocean life, space dinosaurs. Her bed was covered in stuffed animals. "This is Mr. Octopus," Lily said, holding up a plush toy. "He has 8 arms. I told him about you. About how you have 1 arm and how that makes you special. He says he'd share some of his arms if he could, but he needs all 8 for hugging." Sarah took the octopus carefully. "Tell him thank you. That's very kind." "He's the kindest octopus I know." Lily climbed onto her bed. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Does it hurt? Missing your arm?" Marcus appeared in the doorway, ready to intervene, but Sarah waved him off. "Sometimes," she said honestly. "Sometimes my brain forgets it's gone and I try to use it. That's frustrating. And sometimes I feel pain where my arm used to be. Phantom pain, like my brain is searching for something that isn't there anymore." "I have phantom hearing," Lily said. "Sometimes I think I hear things that aren't real. My brain fills in sounds. Daddy says that's okay, that brains are weird sometimes." "Brains are definitely weird. Do people stare at you? At your chair and your arm?" "Yes, all the time." "Me too. At my hearing aids. Kids at school say I'm a robot, or that I'm broken." Lily picked at her blanket. "Are we broken?" Sarah's heart cracked. She reached out with her left hand, touched Lily's knee. "No. We're not broken. We're different. And different isn't bad. Different is just different. That's what Daddy says. But sometimes different feels bad." "I know. Sometimes it does. But you know what I figured out?" "What?" "The people who matter don't care about different. The people who matter see you, the real you, and love that person. Everyone else, they don't matter." Lily considered this. "You matter. And Daddy matters. And my friend Emma matters. And my teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, matters. She has one leg. She uses a prosthetic. She told our class that bodies are just bodies, and what matters is what we do with them. Your teacher sounds very smart. She is. She's the smartest teacher I ever had. Lily yawned. Will you come back to visit? If your dad says it's okay. It's okay, Marcus said from the doorway. More than okay. They left Lily to get ready for bed. Marcus walked Sarah to the front door where Biscuit was sprawled across the welcome mat. Thank you, Sarah said, for tonight, for yesterday, for foreseeing me. Thank you for coming. Lily needed this. She doesn't have many adults in her life who get what it's like. Most people are too careful around her, or they treat her disability like it's the most interesting thing about her. You just treated her like a kid. That's all she is, a kid. A really smart, really kind kid who happens to wear hearing aids. Marcus smiled. Exactly. That's exactly it. He paused. Can I tell you something? Okay. Yesterday when I saw you in that garden, I almost didn't stop. I thought it wasn't my place, that you'd want to be alone, that I'd make it worse by intruding. What made you stop? Lily. She heard you crying and said, Daddy, someone needs help. And I thought about all the times after my fiancé left when I needed help, and no one stopped. When people crossed the street to avoid talking to the one-armed guy who looked broken, and I decided I wouldn't be that person. I'd stop. I'm glad you did. Me too. Marcus leaned against the doorframe. Sarah, I don't know what you need right now. Friend space. Someone to text at 3 a.m. when the walls close in. But whatever it is I'm offering, no expectations, no pressure, just presence. Sarah felt something shift in her chest. Not attraction, though Marcus was undeniably attractive. Something deeper, recognition, like finding someone who spoke her language after months of translation. I need friends, she admitted. Real ones. Who don't pity me or try to fix me or make me feel like I'm a project. I need people who see me doing normal things and don't act like it's inspirational. Then that's what we'll be. Friends. Normal friends who eat spaghetti and talk about sharks and let our kids teach us wisdom. Marcus held out his prosthetic hand. Deal. Sarah shook it with her left hand. Deal. She drove home back to Jessica's apartment feeling something she hadn't felt in 9 months. Connected. Like she'd found her people, the ones who got it, who didn't need explanations or emotional labor, who just existed beside her without making it weird. Jessica was waiting up. How was it? Good, really good. Lily's amazing. Marcus is... Sarah paused. He's different. Different how? Different like he doesn't see my wheelchair first. He sees me, and that's rare. You like him. As a friend. I'm not ready for anything else. But you could be, eventually. Sarah thought about Derek, about the 6 months of trying to be smaller, easier, less disabled, about the constant awareness that she was too much work. With Marcus, she hadn't felt that once. She'd just felt like Sarah. Maybe, she admitted. Someday, but not now. Right now, I need to figure out who I am without Derek, without the wedding. Without the plan I'd made for my life. Fair enough. Where do you start? Sarah pulled out her phone, opened her email, found the message she'd been avoiding. The one from Seattle Aquarium's education department. They'd reached out 3 months ago, asked if she'd be interested in consulting on their accessibility programs. She'd deleted it. Told herself she wasn't ready. Told herself they didn't really want her. Told herself she had nothing to offer. But sitting in Marcus's house teaching Lily about whales correcting tourists at the aquarium, she'd remembered something. She was still a marine biologist. The crane hadn't crushed her knowledge. The wheelchair hadn't erased her expertise. She'd just been letting Derek's voice in her head tell her she was less than. She started typing. Dear Dr. Martinez, I apologize for the delayed response to your inquiry about consulting on accessibility programs. I'm interested in discussing how I might contribute. I have personal experience with adaptive equipment and professional expertise in marine biology education. Would you be available for a meeting next week? She hit send before she could overthink it. What did you just do? Jessica asked. Something brave or stupid, maybe both. What's the difference? Sarah laughed. I have no idea. Her phone buzzed. Marcus. Lily says you have to come to her school presentation next Friday. She's doing her ocean animals project, and she wants you there for moral support. Also to make sure she gets the facts right. No pressure, but she'll be devastated if you say no. Sarah typed back. Tell her I'll be there. Wouldn't miss it. She's literally jumping on her bed right now. Thanks for making her year. She made mine. Both of you did. Sarah set down her phone and looked at Jessica. I think I'm going to be okay. I know you are. How do you know? Because you're choosing yourself, finally. You're not waiting for permission or approval or for someone to tell you you're fixed. You're just moving forward. That's how healing starts. Sarah thought about the past 36 hours. The knife cutting through her wedding dress. The pancakes with strangers. The screaming in the park. The spaghetti dinner with people who saw her as whole. She'd lost Derek. Lost the wedding. Lost the future she'd planned. But she'd found something else. Something unexpected. Herself. Not the version that tried to be smaller. Not the version that apologized for existing. The version that cut herself free. That showed up. That survived. That version was stronger than she'd imagined. And that version was just getting started. The response from Dr. Martinez came Tuesday morning while Sarah was eating toast one-handed at Jessica's kitchen table. Her phone buzzed and she nearly dropped the bread reaching for it. Dr. Chen, wonderful to hear from you. We'd be delighted to meet. Would Thursday at 10 a.m. work? I've been following your coral restoration research and think you'd bring invaluable perspective to our programs. Looking forward to it. Dr. Elena Martinez, Director of Education. Sarah read it 3 times. They'd been following her research. They wanted her perspective, not despite her disability, just wanted her. Good news, Jessica asked, refilling coffee. Meeting Thursday, at the aquarium, about consulting work. That's amazing. See one email and doors start opening? Or it's a pity meeting. Maybe they feel obligated because I'm disabled now. Jessica set down the coffee pot hard. Sarah Chen, stop. Stop making yourself smaller before anyone even has a chance to reject you. What if they actually want you? What if your expertise matters more than your wheelchair? What if I get there and realize I can't do it? What if the aquarium isn't accessible enough? What if I need help and it's too much work and... Then you figure it out. Like you've been figuring everything else out. But you don't get to quit before you even start. That's Derek's voice in your head, not yours. Sarah's phone buzzed again. Marcus this time. Lily wants to know if you can come over tonight. She needs help with her ocean presentation. Fair warning, she's taking this very seriously. Has note cards, a poster board, the works. Sarah smiled despite her anxiety. What time, whenever works for you? We're home all evening. Lily's already stress-eating crackers and it's only 9 a.m. I'll be there at 5. Tell her to save some crackers. You're seeing Marcus again. Jessica's tone was carefully neutral. I'm helping Lily with her school project. That's different. Is it though you've seen them 3 times in 4 days? You text constantly. You light up when his name appears on your phone. I light up because Lily says funny things. It's not romantic. I'm not ready for that. I'm not saying it has to be romantic. I'm saying you're connected to them. In a way, you never were with Derek. Even before the accident, you and Derek were always performing. Being the perfect couple. With Marcus and Lily, you're just you. Sarah picked at her toast. Jessica wasn't wrong. With Derek, she'd always been aware of how she appeared, what she said, whether she was being the right kind of girlfriend. With Marcus, she just existed. "It's too soon," Sarah said finally. "Derek left 4 days ago. I can't be thinking about other men." "You're not thinking about other men. You're thinking about one man who showed up when you needed someone. That's different." "Is it?" "Yes, because you're not looking for a replacement Derek. You're discovering what actual support looks like, what friendship looks like, what being seen looks like." Jessica sat down across from her. "And maybe that scares you. Because if Marcus is this good as a friend, imagine what he'd be like as more." Sarah's chest tightened. "I can't think about that. Not now. Maybe not ever. What if I open up to someone again and they leave too? What if Marcus realizes, I'm too much work? What if he doesn't? What if he's exactly who he appears to be? A good man who shows up?" Jessica reached across the table. "I'm not saying marry him tomorrow. I'm saying don't close yourself off because Derek broke you. One man's failure doesn't define all men." Sarah's phone buzzed. Her mother. "Your Aunt Helen called. She wants to know if you're okay. Also, several wedding gifts still need to be returned. Can I handle those or do you want to?" Sarah typed back, "You handle it. Thanks, Mom." "Also, honey," Derek's mother called. "She's very upset. She wants to talk to you." Sarah's jaw clenched. "No, I'm not talking to Derek's family. She says Derek is devastated, that he made a mistake, that he wants another chance." "Mom, no, please stop. I can't do this." A pause. Then, "Okay, I'll handle it. I love you. Love you too." Sarah dropped her phone. "Derek's mother wants to talk. Apparently he's devastated and made a mistake." "Of course he is. He threw away the best thing that ever happened to him. But that's not your problem. That's his consequence. His mother always liked me. We were close. It feels wrong to cut her off. She chose her son. That's what mothers do. But you don't owe her comfort. You don't owe her access to your grief. You owe yourself protection." Sarah knew Jessica was right, but knowing didn't make it easier. She spent the rest of the day sorting through boxes from the apartment. Clothes went into piles, keep, donate, burn. Photos were harder. Her and Derek hiking, at restaurants, at her graduation, all those moments when she'd believed in their future. She found their wedding vows, the ones she'd written, tucked in a notebook, her handwriting careful and hopeful. "Derek, you are my safe harbor. When the accident happened and my world turned upside down, you were the constant. You held my hand through surgeries and therapy and the dark days when I wanted to quit. You saw me at my lowest and loved me anyway. You showed me that my worth isn't in my body's abilities, but in who I am. I promise to love you through all seasons, through easy days and hard ones, through change and challenge. I promise to be your partner, your best friend, your home." Sarah read it twice, then tore it into pieces. He hadn't seen her at her lowest and loved her anyway. He'd seen her at her lowest and counted the days until he could escape. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. "Sarah, it's Dr. Martinez from the aquarium. I hope I'm not catching you at a bad time." "No, this is fine. Is everything okay with Thursday?" "Thursday's perfect, but I wanted to reach out personally because I heard through the grapevine what happened this weekend, your wedding." Sarah's stomach dropped. "You heard about that. Seattle's a small community in marine biology circles, and I want you to know it doesn't change anything about our meeting. If anything, it reinforces why we need you." "I don't understand." "Sarah, I've used a wheelchair since I was 16. Spinal tumor. And I've spent 20 years in this field watching talented scientists disappear after injuries or illnesses because institutions don't accommodate them. We lose brilliant minds because people assume disability means inability. I don't want to lose you." Sarah couldn't speak. "I've read your research," Dr. Martinez continued. "Your work on coral grafting is innovative. Your approach to reef restoration is exactly what we need for our conservation programs. and your lived experience with adaptive equipment. That's invaluable for building truly accessible educational programs. I didn't think anyone was still following my work. I haven't published in 9 months. That's 9 months of recovery, not 9 months of irrelevance. Your brain didn't break, Sarah. Your body changed. There's a difference. Dr. Martinez paused. I'll see you Thursday. Come with questions. Come with ideas. Come as you are. We need you. After she hung up, Sarah sat there holding the phone crying. Not sad tears, relief tears. Someone in her field saw her as valuable, not despite her disability. Just valuable. Jessica found her like that. What happened? Dr. Martinez called. She uses a wheelchair too. She said they need me, that my brain didn't break. Jessica knelt beside her. Because it didn't. The only thing that broke was Derek's ability to see you clearly, but you're seeing yourself clearly now, finally. That evening, Sarah drove to Marcus's house. The ramp, the accessible doorway, the thought he'd put into making his home welcoming. It all spoke to someone who understood. Lily answered the door holding a poster board covered in cut-out pictures of sea creatures. You're here. Look, I made a shark. Does it look right? I tried to do 7 gills, but they're hard to draw. Sarah studied the drawing. That's pretty good. Want me to show you a trick? Yes. They spread out on the living room floor, Sarah transferring from her wheelchair to sit cross-legged, Lily beside her, markers and paper everywhere. Marcus appeared with lemonade and cookies, then disappeared into the kitchen to give them space. Okay, Sarah said. Sharks are basically triangles. See triangle for the body, smaller triangle for the fin. The gills are just slits here on the side. Triangles? That's so much easier. Lily started drawing furiously. Can you help me with my speech too? I wrote it, but Daddy says I should practice with someone who knows if I got the facts right. Let's hear it. Lily stood up, cleared her throat dramatically, and began. My presentation is about sharks. A lot of people think sharks are scary, but they're not. They're just fish doing fish things. There are over 500 species of sharks. Some are tiny like your hand. Some are huge like a school bus. The biggest shark is the whale shark, but it only eats tiny things called plankton. That's funny because something so big eats something so small. Sarah smiled. That's great so far. What else? Sharks are in trouble because humans are mean. We catch too many sharks. We pollute the ocean. We make the water too warm. Some sharks are almost extinct, which means almost gone forever. But scientists like Sarah are trying to help by studying sharks and teaching people to protect them. Sarah's throat tightened. You mentioned me. Of course. You're a shark scientist. That's important. Lily consulted her note cards. Then I talk about what kids can do to help. Like, don't litter. Don't buy shark fin soup. Tell grown-ups to care about the ocean. The end. Lily, that's wonderful. Your teacher is going to love it. You think so? I'm nervous. What if I forget everything? What if the other kids think sharks are boring? First, you won't forget. You know this material inside and out. Second, sharks are never boring. And third, even if you make mistakes, that's okay. Scientists make mistakes all the time. That's how we learn. Really, you make mistakes? All the time. I once misidentified a shark species in a research paper. Had to publish a correction. It was embarrassing. But I learned from it. What did you learn? That admitting when you're wrong is braver than pretending you're always right. Lily considered this. That's smart. Can I use that in my presentation? Absolutely. Marcus appeared in the doorway. Lily, bedtime in 20 minutes. Start cleaning up. But Daddy, we're working. And you can work more tomorrow. Sarah will come back. Right? Sarah. Sarah met his eyes. Right. I'll come back. After Lily went to brush her teeth, Marcus sat down on the couch. Sarah transferred back to her wheelchair, muscle memory making the movement smoother than it used to be. Thank you for this, Marcus said. She's been stressed about the presentation all week. You made it fun. She made it fun. She's a natural teacher. She gets that from her mom. Keisha was a teacher. 3rd grade. Kids loved her. Marcus's voice went soft. She would have been amazing with Lily. Would have known exactly how to handle the hearing aids the school challenges all of it. Instead, Lily got me. And I'm just figuring it out as I go. You're doing more than figuring it out. You're raising an incredible kid. She's confident, kind, curious. That's because of you. Some days I wonder if I'm screwing it up, if she needs more than I can give her. She needs you, exactly as you are. Trust me, kids know when parents are showing up. Lily knows you show up. Marcus looked at her, really looked. You're good at this, at seeing people, at knowing what to say. I'm good at projecting confidence while internally panicking. Aren't we all? Marcus smiled. How are you doing? Really, not the brave face version. The real version. Sarah thought about lying, about saying she was fine. But something about Marcus made honesty easier. I'm terrified. I have a meeting at the aquarium Thursday about consulting work. I got my stuff out of Derek's apartment. My mother keeps telling me Derek wants to talk, and I keep wondering if maybe I gave up too easily, if maybe I should have listened to his explanation. Should you have? No, I don't think so. But it's hard not to second-guess myself. We were together 3 years. I planned a future with him. And I keep thinking, maybe if I'd been less difficult, less needy, less— Stop. Marcus's voice was firm. Sarah, you weren't difficult. You were disabled. There's a difference. And any man who can't handle that difference isn't worth having. How do you know? You barely know me. I know enough. I know you helped my daughter feel less alone. I know you light up talking about ocean life. I know you survived something that would destroy most people, and you're still here fighting. That tells me everything I need to know about your character. And your character isn't the problem. Derek's is. Sarah felt tears threatening. Why are you so nice to me? Because you deserve nice. Because someone should have been nice to you 9 months ago when your world turned upside down. Because I remember what it felt like when no one was nice to me, and I don't want anyone else to feel that way. Your fiancé really said you were half a man. Marcus flexed his prosthetic hand. She said she couldn't marry someone who wasn't whole. That she deserved someone complete. That loving me would mean a lifetime of accommodations, and she wasn't willing to make those sacrifices. He paused. I believed her for a long time. Thought I was less than. Thought I should be grateful for whatever scraps of affection I could get. Then I realized something. What? I am whole, just differently shaped than I used to be. And anyone who can't see that doesn't deserve access to me. He looked at Sarah. You're whole too. Derek couldn't see it. But that's his blindness, not your incompleteness. Sarah wiped her eyes. I'm going to the aquarium Thursday, taking the meeting, seeing if I still have something to offer. You do. I promise you do. How can you promise that? Because I watched you teach Lily tonight. Watched you explain shark anatomy with one hand while making her laugh. Watched you turn her anxiety into excitement. That's a gift. That's value. And the aquarium would be lucky to have you. Lily appeared in her pajamas holding Mr. Octopus. Daddy, can Sarah tuck me in? Lily, that's not— Marcus started. It's okay, Sarah said. I'd be honored. Lily's room was an explosion of color and creativity. Sarah wheeled to the bedside while Lily climbed under the covers. Will you come to my presentation Friday? Lily asked. I'll be really nervous, and it would help if you were there. I'll be there, front row. Promise? Promise. Lily hugged Mr. Octopus. Sarah, can I ask you something? Anything. Are you going to marry my daddy? Sarah's heart stopped. What? Emma at school says when grown-ups spend lots of time together, they get married. And you're here all the time now, so I thought maybe you'd marry Daddy, And then you'd be my bonus mom and we could be a family. Sarah struggled for words. Lily, your dad and I are friends. Just friends. I just met you a few days ago. But you like him, right? And he likes you. I can tell because he smiles different when you're here. And you smile different too. Not the sad smile from the garden. A real smile. I do like your dad, very much. But liking someone and marrying them are different things. And I was supposed to marry someone else last weekend. I'm not ready to think about marrying anyone else. Was that the mean man who left you? Yes. Well, he was stupid. Daddy's not stupid. Daddy's smart and kind, and he wouldn't leave you because of your chair. He'd think your chair was cool. He thinks different things are interesting, not scary. Your daddy is very special, and so are you. But I need time, okay? Time to figure out who I am without the mean man. Time to remember what I want. Can you understand that? Lily nodded slowly. I guess. But when you're done figuring it out, will you think about it? About being my bonus mom? Sarah's chest ached. If that time comes, I promise I'll think about it very carefully. But right now, I'm really happy being your friend. Is that okay? It's okay. Friends are good too. Lily yawned. Sarah, I'm glad you came to our church that day. I'm glad Daddy found you. Because you make things better. You make things better too, Lily. You and your dad both. Sarah kissed Lily's forehead and wheeled back to the living room. Marcus was waiting, concern on his face. I heard some of that, he admitted. I'm sorry. Lily sometimes says things without filtering. Don't apologize. She's 7. She sees what she sees. And what she sees isn't, I don't want you to think I'm... Marcus stopped, frustrated. I'm not trying to replace Derek. I'm not trying to rush you into anything. I just want to be your friend. I know, and I appreciate that. But Marcus, can I be honest? Please. I'm terrified of you. Marcus blinked. Of me. Not you specifically. Of what you represent. You're kind, patient. You see me as whole. You introduce me to your daughter. You show up. And that terrifies me, because what if I let myself care about you, and then you realize I'm too much work? What if you're just like Derek, but it takes longer to figure out? What if I open my heart again, and it gets destroyed? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood up, walked over and knelt beside her wheelchair so they were eye level. Sarah, I can't promise I'll never hurt you. People hurt each other sometimes, even when they don't mean to. But I can promise I won't leave because of your wheelchair. I won't leave because you need help sometimes. I won't leave because your body doesn't work the way it used to. Because mine doesn't either. And if we're both broken, he gestured between them, then maybe we're broken in compatible ways. I'm not ready for this. For us. For whatever this is. I know, and I'm not pushing. I'm just saying when you are ready, if you're ever ready, I'm here. No pressure, no timeline, just possibility. Sarah looked at this man who'd appeared in a garden 4 days ago and somehow become essential. Can we just be friends for now, until I figure out who I am without Derek? We can be friends for as long as you need, and if that's all we ever are, that's okay too. I'd rather have you as a friend than lose you because I pushed too hard. Thank you. For what? For being patient. For seeing me, for not running. Marcus smiled. Thank you for letting me see you, for trusting me with your pain, for eating spaghetti with my daughter and making her feel less alone. He stood up. Now go home, get some sleep. Nail that aquarium meeting Thursday. Show them what you're made of. Sarah drove back to Jessica's apartment, her mind spinning. Marcus's words echoed in her head, broken, incompatible ways. When you're ready, I'm here. She wasn't ready. Not even close. But for the first time since the accident, since Derek, since her life imploded, she could imagine a future where she might be ready, where she might open her heart again, where she might let someone in who actually deserved to be there. Jessica was waiting up. How'd it go? Lily asked if I was going to marry her dad. What did you say? That I'm not ready. that I need time, that we're just friends. And what did Marcus say? That he'd wait, that whenever I'm ready, if I'm ever ready, he's there. Jessica smiled. He's good people. He is, and that terrifies me. Good. You should be terrified. That means it matters. That means you're feeling something real. And Sarah, real is what you deserve. Not Derek's conditional love, not someone who bails when things get hard. Real, unconditional show up even when it's messy love. That's what you deserve. Sarah looked at her best friend. What if I'm not brave enough for that? You cut your wedding dress with a knife in front of 200 people. You're brave enough for anything. Thursday morning came too fast. Sarah woke with anxiety clawing at her chest. She changed outfits 3 times before settling on professional but comfortable black pants, a teal blouse that Jessica said made her eyes pop, her hair pulled back in a neat ponytail. You look great, Jessica said. Now go show them what you've got. The aquarium felt different, arriving for a meeting instead of as a visitor. More official. More intimidating. Sarah checked in at the front desk, waited in the lobby, tried to ignore the way her left hand shook. Dr. Chen. Sarah turned. Dr. Martinez was younger than expected, maybe early 40s, with warm brown skin and silver-streaked black hair. Her wheelchair was sleek, clearly expensive, covered in stickers from various marine conservation organizations. Dr. Martinez, thank you for meeting with me. Elena, please, come on back to my office. Fair warning, it's a mess. I'm not great at filing. Elena's office was indeed chaotic, papers stacked everywhere. Aquarium maps tacked to walls, photos of marine life covering every surface. But it was also clearly accessible. Wide doorways, adjustable desk, everything within reach. I had this office redesigned when I started, Elena explained, gesturing for Sarah to come in. The original was totally inaccessible, narrow doorways, high shelves, like they'd never considered a wheelchair user might work here. Now it's my favorite space in the building. Sarah rolled to the desk. How long have you been here? 6 years. Before that, I was at Monterey Bay Aquarium. Before that, grad school at Scripps. I've been in marine biology for 20 years, 15 of those in a wheelchair. Do you mind if I ask what happened? Spinal tumor. 16 years old. They caught it early enough to save my life, but not early enough to save my legs. Spent my junior year of high school learning to walk again. Spoiler alert, I never walked again. Elena's smile was wry. But I learned to swim again, learned to dive again, learned that my brain was the most important part of being a scientist, not my legs. You still dive. Adaptive equipment, special training. But yes, I dive regularly. It's harder than it used to be, requires more planning. But it's possible. Everything's possible if you're stubborn enough. Sarah felt something loosening in her chest. I haven't been in the water since my accident. I didn't think I could. You can. You absolutely can. I know 3 different adaptive diving programs in Seattle. I'll get you connected. Elena pulled out a folder. But first, let's talk about why you're here. We need someone to consult on accessibility programs. Not just physical accessibility ramps and elevators, but educational accessibility. Making our programs work for visitors with disabilities, and I think you're perfect for it. Why me? Because you're brilliant. Your coral restoration research is groundbreaking, because you've lived the experience of sudden disability, because you care about education. I saw that watching you with tourists last weekend. And because we need diverse voices in marine science. We lose too many talented scientists to institutions that won't accommodate them. I don't want to lose you. Sarah's throat tightened. I'm not sure what I can offer. I haven't worked in 9 months. My research position disappeared after the accident. I've been trying to figure out what comes next. What comes next is this, if you want it. Elena slid a paper across the desk. Part-time consulting, 20 hours a week. Flexible schedule. Work from home when needed. Review our educational programs for accessibility. Develop new programs that center disabled experiences. Consult on adaptive equipment for our dive programs. And maybe if you're interested, get back into research. We have coral restoration work that needs someone with your expertise. Sarah read the paper 3 times. The salary was modest but fair. The terms were reasonable. The work was everything she'd been trained to do. You're offering me a job. I'm offering you a partnership. We need you, Sarah. The aquarium needs you. Marine science needs you. Don't let one bad accident and one worse fiancé convince you you're done. You're just getting started. Sarah looked at Elena, at this woman who'd lived 15 years in a wheelchair and refused to let it stop her. At this evidence that disabled scientists existed, thrived, contributed. Can I think about it? Of course. Take a week, 2 weeks. But Sarah, don't think too long. The world needs your brain, and your brain is ready. Sarah left the meeting feeling like she'd been hit by a wave. A good wave. The kind that knocks you over but fills you with electricity. She called Marcus from the parking lot. "How'd it go?" he answered. "They offered me a job. Part-time consulting. Flexible hours. Coral restoration research. Everything I thought I'd lost." "That's amazing, Sarah. That's incredible." "I'm terrified." "Of course you are. But you're going to say yes anyway, right?" "I think so. Maybe. I don't know." "What's stopping you?" Sarah stared at the aquarium building. "What if I can't do it? What if my body doesn't cooperate? What if I accept the job and then realize I'm not capable anymore?" "Then you'll adapt, like you've been adapting everything else." Sarah, capable isn't about walking or having 2 arms. Capable is about your brain, your knowledge, your passion, and you have all of that. The wheelchair doesn't change that. When did you get so wise? I've been taking lessons from my daughter. She's a good teacher. Sarah laughed, felt tears on her face. Thank you for believing in me when I don't believe in myself. That's what friends do. We hold belief until you're strong enough to hold it yourself. That night, Sarah sat at Jessica's kitchen table with the job offer in front of her. The smart move was to say yes, but fear kept whispering, what if, what if, what if? Her phone buzzed. Lily texting from Marcus's phone. Tomorrow is my presentation. Are you still coming? I'm nervous, but Daddy says you'll be there, so I'll be okay. Lily. Sarah typed back. I'll be there. Front row. I promise. Good, because I put you in my presentation. I said you're my friend, and you're a real scientist, and you're going to help save the ocean. Is that okay? Sarah read it twice. Lily had claimed her as a scientist, not a former scientist, not a disabled scientist, just a scientist. She picked up her phone and called Elena. Dr. Martinez, it's Sarah Chen. I've thought about your offer. That was fast. I'm saying yes. I want the job. I want to do the work. I want to prove that disabled scientists belong in marine biology. Sarah, you don't have to prove anything. You already belong. But I'm thrilled you're saying yes. When can you start? Is Monday too soon? Monday is perfect. Welcome to the team. After hanging up, Sarah sat there feeling something she hadn't felt in 9 months. Purpose, direction. The sense that her life was moving forward instead of spinning in place. Jessica came home, and Sarah told her everything. I'm proud of you, Jessica said. You chose yourself. You chose your future. You didn't let fear win. I'm still terrified. That's allowed. You can be terrified and brave at the same time. That's what courage is. Friday morning, Sarah woke early. Lily's presentation was at 10. She had time to drive to the school, find parking, figure out accessibility. Marcus texted. Lily's been up since 6 practicing her speech. She's wearing her favorite dress and her best shoes, and she won't stop asking if you're really coming. Tell her I'm on my way. Wouldn't miss it for anything. The elementary school was old but well-maintained. Sarah found accessible parking wheeled to the entrance, navigated hallways filled with children's artwork. Marcus met her outside Lily's classroom. You made it. I promised. She's inside freaking out. Maybe you could... He gestured toward the door. Sarah wheeled into the classroom. Lily stood at the front clutching her poster board, looking small and terrified. Lily. The girl's face transformed. Sarah, you came... She ran over, threw arms around Sarah's neck. I was scared you wouldn't. I was scared I'd forget everything. You won't forget. You know this material inside and out. And even if you do forget something, that's okay. Scientists make mistakes, remember. Scientists make mistakes. Lily repeated. Okay. Okay, I can do this. Other parents filtered in. Kids took seats. The teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, the one with the prosthetic leg, called the class to order. Today we're hearing presentations about ocean animals. Who wants to go first? Lily's hand shot up before Sarah could tell her it was okay to wait. Lily Williams, come on up. Lily walked to the front, set up her poster, took a deep breath and began. She didn't make a single mistake, talked about sharks with passion and precision, showed her drawings, explained conservation efforts, and then at the end, she pointed at Sarah. This is my friend Dr. Sarah Chen. She's a marine biologist. That means she's a scientist who studies ocean animals. She got hurt in an accident and now she uses a wheelchair and has one arm. But she's still a scientist. She still knows everything about sharks and coral and fish. Because being a scientist is about your brain, not your legs. And her brain is really, really smart. The class turned to look at Sarah. Marcus met her eyes from the back of the room, smiled encouragingly. Dr. Chen says scientists make mistakes all the time. Lily continued. And that's okay because mistakes help us learn. She also says kids can help save the ocean by not littering and caring about animals and telling grown-ups to protect the water. That's my presentation. Thank you. The class applauded. Mrs. Rodriguez beamed, and Lily ran to Sarah, vibrating with relief and pride. Did I do okay? Was it good? It was perfect. You were perfect. After the presentations ended, Mrs. Rodriguez approached. Dr. Chen, I'm Maria Rodriguez. I teach second grade, and I use a prosthetic leg. Would you be willing to come back sometime? Talk to the kids about marine biology and being a scientist with a disability. We need more representation. Sarah looked at this teacher who'd claimed her disability openly. At Lily, who'd introduced Sarah with pride instead of pity. At Marcus, who'd believed in her from day one. I'd love to, Sarah heard herself say. I start a new job Monday at the Seattle Aquarium, but I'd love to come back and talk to the kids. That's wonderful. We'll set something up. Walking out of the school with Marcus and Lily, Sarah felt something shift inside her. The past week had been devastating, losing Derek, losing the wedding, losing the future she'd planned. But in losing that, she'd found something better. She'd found herself, the version that didn't shrink, the version that showed up, the version that claimed her expertise and her worth and her right to take up space. Ice cream, Marcus suggested, to celebrate Lily's excellent presentation. Yes, Lily cheered. They went to a local shop, ordered cones chocolate for Lily, vanilla for Marcus, mint chip for Sarah. Sat at a table outside in the spring sunshine. I start my new job Monday, Sarah said. At the aquarium, consulting on accessibility programs and coral restoration research. Marcus's face lit up. Sarah, that's incredible. See, I told you you'd figure it out. You did, and you were right. Sarah looked at him, at this man who'd shown up when she needed someone, who'd stayed when others would have left, who'd seen her as capable when she couldn't see it herself. Thank you. For everything. For stopping in the garden. For the pancakes. For letting me be part of Lily's life. For believing in me. You don't have to thank me for doing what anyone decent would do. But not everyone did. Most people disappeared after my accident. Or they stayed but made me feel like a burden. You never did that. You just saw me. Because you're worth seeing. Lily tugged Sarah's sleeve. Are you still just friends with my daddy? Or are you bonus mom yet? Lily, Marcus started. Sarah laughed. Still just friends, but really good friends. The kind that stick around. Is that okay? It's okay, but I'm going to keep hoping. Because you make Daddy smile real smiles. And you make me feel like being different is okay. So, I think you should stay forever. Sarah met Marcus's eyes over Lily's head. Something passed between them. Not a promise. Not yet. But possibility. The kind that takes time to grow into something real. I'm not going anywhere, Sarah said. And meant it. 6 months later, Sarah stood at the edge of the dive platform at Edmonds Underwater Park, her heart hammering against her ribs. The water below was dark green cold, unforgiving. The same water that had nearly killed her a year ago. You don't have to do this today, Elena said beside her already in her wetsuit, her wheelchair parked on the platform. We can wait. Come back when you're ready. I'll never be ready if I keep waiting. Sarah looked at the adaptive dive equipment, the specialized buoyancy vest, the modified fins, the tether system that would keep her safe. Months of training had led to this moment. Certification courses, pool sessions, gradual progression from shallow to deep water. But this was different. This was the sound. The same water where everything had changed. Marcus appeared on the platform with Lily. They'd come to watch, to support, to be there if Sarah needed them. You've got this, Marcus said quietly. I've watched you prepare for months. You're ready. What if I panic? What if I get down there and remember the accident and I can't breathe? Then you signal and we bring you up. But Sarah, you're not the same person who had that accident. You're stronger now, braver, and you're not alone. Elena's diving with you. I'm right here. Lily's cheering for you. You've got a whole team. Lily pressed something into Sarah's left hand. A small plastic octopus, the kind from a toy store. Mr. Octopus says you're the bravest person he knows. And he's an octopus, so he's seen a lot of ocean. Take him with you for good luck. Sarah's eyes burned. Thank you, Lily. I'll bring him back safe. I know you will, because you're Dr. Sarah Chen and you don't give up on things. Sarah tucked the toy into her vest pocket, zipped it secure, looked at the water, at Elena already moving toward the edge, at the dive team standing ready. She'd spent 6 months rebuilding her life. The consulting work at the aquarium had turned into a full-time position. Her accessibility programs were being implemented across the institution. Her coral restoration research was back on track with 2 papers submitted for publication. She'd presented at a conference in Portland, taught workshops for adaptive diving, mentored 3 disabled students considering marine biology careers. She'd moved into her own accessible apartment, decorated it her way, built a life that was hers alone, not shaped around someone else's comfort level. She'd been to therapy, worked through the trauma of the accident, of Derek's abandonment, of rebuilding identity from scratch. Dr. Patterson had helped her see that losing Derek wasn't a failure. It was a filter that removed someone who couldn't handle real partnership. And through it all, Marcus and Lily had been there. Not as obligation, not as pity, just as presence. They'd become part of her daily life, dinners twice a week, weekend adventures, late-night phone calls, when either of them couldn't sleep. Lily called Sarah her bonus person, the adult who showed up consistently and made life better just by existing in it. Marcus had been patient, never pushing, never demanding more than Sarah was ready to give. But the feelings had grown anyway, slow and steady, like coral building a reef. Friendship had deepened into something else, something that felt like coming home. 2 weeks ago, Marcus had kissed her. They'd been in his kitchen cooking dinner while Lily did homework at the table. Sarah had made a joke, Marcus had laughed, and then suddenly they were closer than they'd been before. He'd looked at her with a question in his eyes. She'd answered by closing the distance. The kiss had been gentle, careful, full of promise. I've wanted to do that for months, Marcus had whispered afterward. I've wanted you to, Sarah had admitted. They hadn't told Lily yet. wanted to make sure this was real before getting her hopes up. But it felt real. More real than anything Sarah had experienced with Derek. This wasn't performance. This wasn't trying to be enough. This was two people who'd been broken in different ways, choosing to build something new together. Sarah, Elena's voice brought her back to the present. You ready? Sarah looked at the water one more time. Thought about the woman who'd sat in a church garden 6 months ago, believing her life was over. That woman had been wrong. Life wasn't over. It was just beginning in ways she'd never imagined. I'm ready. The descent was controlled, practiced. Sarah followed Elena down the guide rope, equalizing pressure, controlling her breathing, focusing on technique. The water closed over her head, and for one terrible moment, panic surged. Then she saw it. A school of herring flashing silver in the filtered sunlight. A harbor seal spiraling past, curious and graceful. The rocky bottom covered in anemones and sea stars. The underwater world she'd loved her entire adult life, still here, still beautiful, still worth fighting for. She was diving. Actually, diving. With one arm and paralyzed legs and a body that didn't work the way it used to. But she was here. In the water. Doing the thing she'd been told she'd never do again. Elena appeared beside her, gave the OK signal. Sarah returned it. They dove for 20 minutes, exploring the underwater park, checking on the experimental coral grafting site Sarah had designed. The work was promising. The grafts were taking growing, thriving. Life persisting against odds. When they surfaced, Marcus and Lily were waiting. Lily was jumping up and down on the platform, signing so fast her hands blurred. You did it. You did it. You were underwater forever. Did you see fish? Did you see sharks? Did Mr. Octopus have fun? Sarah pulled herself onto the platform with Elena's help, breathing hard, smiling so wide her face hurt. Mr. Octopus had the time of his life. And yes, I saw fish. So many fish. Marcus knelt beside her, his prosthetic hand on her shoulder, his real hand cupping her face. How do you feel? Like I just took my life back. He kissed her then in front of Elena and Lily and the dive team. Not a careful kitchen kiss, a real one, full of pride and relief and something deeper. Lily squealed. Does this mean Sarah's your girlfriend now? Does this mean she's going to be my bonus mom? Marcus pulled back, laughing. I guess the secret's out. There was a secret, Sarah asked, still breathless from the dive and the kiss. I was trying to be subtle about being completely in love with you. Apparently I failed. The words hung in the air between them. Love. He'd said love. You love me, Sarah whispered. I've loved you since the garden. I just didn't want to scare you away by saying it too soon. Marcus's eyes were serious now. I love how you show up for Lily. I love how you refuse to let obstacles stop you. I love that you cut your wedding dress with a knife and walked away from someone who didn't deserve you. I love your brain and your passion and your terrible jokes about marine biology. I love all of you, Sarah, every part. The wheelchair, the missing arm, the whole package. Sarah felt tears streaming down her face. I love you too. I didn't want to. I was so scared of being hurt again. But Marcus, you made it impossible not to love you. You showed up every single day. You never made me feel like a burden. You just loved me, even when I couldn't love myself. So does this mean you're going to marry my daddy? Lily asked, completely serious. Both adults laughed through tears. Lily, we just started officially dating, Sarah said. Marriage is a big step. But you will marry him eventually, right? Because I already told Emma at school, you're going to be my bonus mom, and I don't want to be wrong. How about we start with girlfriend and see how it goes? Marcus suggested. Fine. But I'm planning your wedding already. It's going to have sharks, and octopuses, and no mean people who leave. 3 months later, Sarah stood in the same church garden where Marcus had found her. But this time, everything was different. The garden was decorated with simple white flowers. 50 people sat in chairs. Real friends, chosen family people who'd shown up consistently instead of disappearing when things got hard. Jessica stood beside Sarah as maid of honor, just as she'd been supposed to 9 months ago for a different wedding. But that wedding would have been wrong. This one was right. Lily walked down the aisle in a yellow dress, scattering flower petals. Her hearing aids decorated with tiny starfish stickers. She took her place at the front, grinning huge. The music shifted. Marcus appeared at the end of the aisle with his best friend David, a veteran he'd served with in Afghanistan. Marcus wore a suit that fit him perfectly, his prosthetic hand visible, no attempt to hide it. He saw Sarah, and his face transformed. Not the polite appreciation Derek had shown. Real joy. Real love. Real certainty. Sarah wheeled herself down the aisle. No one to give her away, because she was giving herself, claiming this choice, this man, this life. She wore a simple dress, cream-colored, no train to cut with knives. Her left hand held a small bouquet of white roses. Her right sleeve hung empty, unpinned, visible. No hiding. No shame. Just truth. When she reached the front, Marcus knelt beside her wheelchair so they were eye level, took her left hand in both of his flesh and metal, perfectly matched. The officiant, Dr. Martinez from the aquarium, smiled at them. We're gathered today to witness something rare and precious. Two people choosing each other. Not because it's easy, not because it's convenient, but because they've seen each other at their worst and decided that worst is still worth loving. Sarah barely heard the ceremony. She was too focused on Marcus's face, on the way he looked at her like she was everything. On Lily beside them, holding the rings, practically vibrating with excitement. Sarah and Marcus have written their own vows, Elena said. Marcus cleared his throat. Sarah, 6 months ago, I found you in this garden on what should have been your worst day. You were wearing a wedding dress and breaking apart, and I almost didn't stop. But I did. And that decision changed my life. You taught Lily that being different is powerful. You taught me that showing up is the most important thing we can do. You rebuilt your entire life from scratch, and let me watch you do it. You're the strongest person I know, and I promise to spend the rest of my life showing up for you. Not because you need saving, but because partnership means choosing to be present. I love you. All of you. Always. Sarah's turn. She'd practiced this speech 100 times, but now the words came from somewhere deeper. Marcus, I came here 9 months ago believing I was broken, that I wasn't worth loving, that my wheelchair and my missing arm made me less than. Derek left because he couldn't handle being with someone disabled. You stayed because you saw that disabled isn't less than, it's just different. You saw my chair and my arm, and you didn't run. You sat down in the grass and stayed. And that changed everything. You showed me that real love doesn't need perfect bodies. It needs present hearts. You gave me your daughter's trust, your own heart, your belief when I had none. And I promise to show up for you and Lily every day. Through seizures and hard days and moments when the world feels too heavy. Through joy and adventure and the ordinary magic of building a life together. I love you. And I love our family, and I'm not going anywhere. Do you have the rings? Elena asked. Lily held them up triumphantly. I didn't lose them. I kept them safe the whole time. They exchanged rings, simple bands that fit perfectly. By the power vested in me by the state of Washington, Elena said, I now pronounce you partners, spouses, family. Marcus, you may kiss your bride. Marcus kissed Sarah, and the garden erupted in cheers. Lily jumped between them, wrapping arms around both, creating a 3-person hug that felt like coming home. The reception was in the church hall, casual and joyful. No assigned seating, no formal dances, just food and laughter and people who mattered. Derek had sent a card 2 weeks ago. Sarah had opened it, read his attempt at congratulations, mixed with regret, then thrown it away. He'd made his choice 9 months ago. She'd made hers today, and hers was better. During the cake cutting, Lily stood on a chair and clinked her glass like she'd seen in movies. "I want to make a speech." "Lily, honey," Marcus started. "No, let her," Sarah said. "She's earned it." Lily cleared her throat dramatically. "When I first met Sarah, she was crying in a garden because a mean man left her. And Daddy said we should help because people who are sad need friends. So we had pancakes. And then we went to the aquarium. And then Sarah came to my school. And now she's my bonus mom, and we're a real family. And I want to say that I'm really happy. Because Sarah makes Daddy smile real smiles. And she teaches me about fish. And she never treats me like I'm broken because of my hearing aids. She just treats me like I'm Lily. And that's the best thing anyone can do. So thank you, Sarah, for marrying my daddy and being my bonus mom and making everything better. Also, your wheelchair is really cool, and I want one when I grow up, even though my legs work." The room laughed through tears. Sarah pulled Lily into a hug with her one arm. "Thank you, Lily, for being the bravest 7-year-old I know, for teaching me that different is interesting, not scary, for sharing your daddy with me. I love you." "I love you too. Can I call you Mom now, or is that too soon?" Sarah looked at Marcus, who nodded, eyes wet. "You can call me Mom." "Okay, Mom. Can I have more cake?" Later, when the reception wound down and guests started leaving, Sarah found herself back in the garden. The same spot where Marcus had found her. The same bench where she'd sat believing her life was over. Marcus wheeled up beside her. "You okay?" "More than okay. I'm happy. Really, truly happy. Even though this isn't the wedding you planned 9 months ago. Especially because it's not that wedding. That wedding would have been wrong. Beautiful, but wrong. This wedding was real. No performance. No pretending. Just us. Exactly as we are." Marcus took her hand. "I used to think losing my arm was the worst thing that ever happened to me. But if I hadn't lost it, I wouldn't have understood what you needed. I wouldn't have known how to show up for someone who was rebuilding their life. So maybe losing my arm wasn't the worst thing. Maybe it was preparation for the best thing." "Derek leaving was the worst thing," Sarah said. "Until it wasn't. Until I realized it was the filter I needed. It got rid of someone who couldn't handle real life and made space for someone who could." "We're quite a pair," Marcus said. "1 arm between us, 3 working legs, 2 hearing aids, and enough stubborn determination to rebuild the world." "And love," Sarah added. "Don't forget love." "Never." Marcus kissed her hand. "Ready to start our life. I started my life 9 months ago in this garden. Now I'm ready to share it." They wheeled back into the hall where Lily was teaching other kids how to sign "I love you," and Jessica was dancing with Sarah's uncle, and Elena was talking to Mrs. Rodriguez about adaptive equipment in schools. This was Sarah's life now. Not the one she'd planned. Not the one she'd imagined in graduate school when her body worked and her future seemed certain. But something better. Something real. Something built on choosing herself, choosing growth, choosing people who showed up. The accident hadn't broken her. Derek's abandonment hadn't destroyed her. The wheelchair didn't define her. The missing arm didn't limit her. She was Dr. Sarah Chen, marine biologist, consultant, educator, advocate, wife, bonus mom, survivor, fighter, whole. Not despite her disability, not in spite of her challenges, just whole. Period. And whole was more than enough. Marcus pulled her into a dance, awkward with her wheelchair, his prosthetic hand, their combined inability to move the way traditional couples moved. But they made it work. They always made it work. Lily joined them, standing on Sarah's footrests, arms around both her parents, creating a family unit that looked nothing like traditional, but felt like everything that mattered. "We did it," Sarah whispered to Marcus. "We built something real." "We did," he agreed. "And we're just getting started." In the corner of the garden, the bench where Sarah had once sat, broken, still stood empty now, but somehow significant. A marker of where she'd been. a reminder of how far she'd come. She'd sat on that bench believing she was unlovable, that her wheelchair made her less, that no one would choose her. She'd been catastrophically wrong. The right person didn't just choose her. He knelt beside her wheelchair, stayed through the healing, loved her through the rebuilding, and promised to show up for all the days ahead. Derek had called her half a woman. Marcus called her his whole world. Derek had seen obstacles. Marcus saw opportunities. Derek had run. Marcus had stayed. And in staying, he'd given her back something she'd thought was lost forever. Not her old life. Not the body she used to have. Not the future she'd planned. Something better. Hope, partnership, family. Love that didn't require perfection, just presence. Sarah Chen had survived a crane falling on her. She'd survived paralysis and amputation and 9 months of rebuilding from scratch. She'd survived abandonment and humiliation and the complete destruction of her life plan. And in surviving, she'd discovered something essential. She wasn't broken. She'd never been broken. She was just evolving into someone stronger, braver, more authentic than the person she'd been before. The crane had crushed her spine and taken her arm. Derek had crushed her heart and taken her wedding day. But they hadn't taken her. The real her. The her that existed beyond body parts and romantic partnerships and other people's ability to see her worth. That her was still here, still fighting, still growing, still choosing life even when life was hard. And that her had found someone who chose her back. Not the easy version. Not the convenient version. The real version. Wheelchair missing arm trauma. Strength passion. Stubbornness, love and all. As the reception ended, and they prepared to leave for their honeymoon, an accessible resort in the San Juan Islands, where they'd spend a week diving and exploring and being a family. Sarah looked back at the garden one last time. 9 months ago, she'd entered that garden as a rejected bride, believing she'd lost everything. Today, she left it as a chosen wife, knowing she'd found everything that mattered. The garden hadn't changed. She had. And that made all the difference. Marcus squeezed her hand. Lily climbed into the car, already talking about seeing orcas. Jessica hugged Sarah one more time, whispering, "I told you you'd be okay." Sarah whispered back, "You were right." They drove away from the church, from the garden, from the place where Sarah's old life had ended and her new life had begun. The Seattle skyline glowed in the evening light. The sound stretched to the horizon, full of life and possibility. Sarah had survived the fall. She'd survived the rejection. She'd survived the rebuilding. Now she was ready to do more than survive. She was ready to thrive. With Marcus beside her, Lily in the back seat, singing off-key, and a future full of diving and research and ordinary miracles. Sarah Chen rolled forward into her life. Not the life she'd planned, the life she'd chosen, the life she'd fought for, the life she deserved. And it was more beautiful than any plan could have been. Because real love doesn't need perfect bodies or perfect circumstances or perfect anything. Real love just needs two people brave enough to show up, stay present, and choose each other. Again and again and again. Sarah had found that love. In a garden. On the worst day of her life. And that worst day had become the doorway to her best life. Sometimes, the story you planned isn't the story you needed. Sometimes rejection from the wrong person makes space for acceptance from the right one. Sometimes losing everything helps you find what matters. Sarah had learned all of that. Had lived it. Had become it. She was whole. She was loved. She was exactly where she was meant to be, and that was everything.